Good evening, everyone. So today here, myself, Nuri, Ume, and Gauri, we are here to give a talk on acceptance and its struggle. So we all are counselors who focuses on mental health of every individual. And today we'll be talking about not talking. We want to share about our own perception and thoughts on what is acceptance and what are the struggles in order to accept something. It can be anything. So let's start this with I will hand over to me.
So now that my friend has given the trouble, to me to start the session, thank you so much, Noori. So hello everybody, myself Ume. I'm a certified mental health counselor from Banjara Academy. So we today the topic is acceptance and its struggles. Okay, so let us start by understanding what exactly do we mean by the term acceptance. Okay, so acceptance is something that you need to adhere to. Like you have to accept irrespective of your situation, irrespective of uh, whatever is happening to you in reality, the situations, the conditions which happen to you human being, and how accepting the human being is towards that situation or towards that condition is what it is acceptance, without being judgmental, keeping peace, respecting things irrespective of whatever is happening around those conditions, those situations in reality, and accepting it as it is what we basically mean by acceptance. And slowly we will start understanding why it is important to us, why acceptance is important to us, and we will understand acceptance at different levels. We will just give small a few examples of how acceptance is, how we understand acceptance from different perspectives. And when it comes to self, when it comes to our own self, how it is, what
Hmm.
exactly it is, and why it is difficult for us to accept some things, what are the struggles, what are the blocks that are there that don't let us accept things as they are. Okay, so let us start by understanding why it is important to accept things as some things. Okay, and Nuri is going to tell us about those things, why it is important to accept things.
Yeah, before going why it is important, let's first hear from anyone or any one of us like what is acceptance with our own perception. What do you think? What can be the acceptance and input?
So, Nuri and Ume, we don't want this to be like a sermon or a classroom, right?
Yes,
We
yes.
would
No,
we
no,
would
no, no, we
rather
can
appreciate
tell. Yeah,
we would appreciate if it 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 it's a it becomes a discussion more than anything else.
definitely, definitely. It is a discussion, and I would
Hmm.
like all of you all to participate in this.
Yes.
Anjana, Shanaya, Tisha, Asha, everyone. So, if you all are here, you can just tell us what do you think, what do you understand by this term acceptance, if anybody would like to answer.
Put some light on it.
Basically, acceptance will be like we expect something out of like with whatever it is, maybe human or things or whatever, we want something, and accepting the reality that sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't happen. So we
Okay.
need to, maybe I'm giving the answer of what I don't know, but according to me, when it comes to accepting is ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಈಗ ನಾವೇನೋ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ವಿ
Yeah,
ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್,
yeah,
ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್.
yes, yes. Expecting something from a person, but it doesn't come out, as we expect,
The
and then
way
you basically
we
you end
want,
up accepting.
it doesn't come out the way we want.
Yes, yes, exactly,
And I
exactly.
think that is the only thing. That is the main thing. Like why we have mentioned struggle on it. Like for accepting something, there is many struggles that we have to go through, many hardships in order to accept anything, right? What do you think?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. What do you think, Gauri?
Uh, can I pitch in a little later after maybe Nuri started to say something? So let her
Yeah.
finish that. Then
Yeah. Yeah.
Nuri, go ahead.
Shall I continue with the
Yeah, yeah,
important?
please, please.
Okay. So importance of acceptance, according to my perception, I think it's basically we don't want any, like we have to accept ourselves, or any acceptance is ultimately goes to, like, in order to reduce or not have any harsh judgment on ourselves regarding anything. Also, it allows us to break away from our thoughts of guilt, as well as from any unfairness we think, like any partiality going on. And also it gives us more confidence in ourselves, as well as makes us less vulnerable to criticism. So according to me, those are things why it is very important for us to have an acceptance of anything. So since acceptance has become a very important part of our life, um, from waking up till going till bed, we have to accept something on a day-to-day basis. We are accepting something. If we are not able to come in terms with those things, not able to make any acknowledgement, then I think it is, what it is affecting our mental mental health, our mind. Not only our mental health, it will definitely what go and affect our health as well. So acceptance is very important in our life. But in order to have some acceptance, we have to go to struggles. We have to have many struggles, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Right. So let me
Uh,
give you some examples. Gauri, you would like to
Let
say
Gauri
something?
speak. No, he was saying
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
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 So
Let him put some.
so
Yeah.
the way I think about it is right, and this is as I was saying before, this is not a pedantic discourse on acceptance and its
Right.
struggles.
Hmm.
It's what I'm going to talk about is going to be from my own experiences and my own thought processes.
Yeah.
May or may not match with what your experiences are.
Mhm.
Actually, that it's funny I use that phrase because acceptance is a lot about your own experiences as well.
Mhm.
So acceptance in my thoughts, in the way I understand it, is not about just acknowledging a particular situation that you are in, or acknowledging a particular person, acknowledging yourself. That's the easier part to do. It's about embracing it with your heart and soul, and be peace with that situation, with that person, with yourself as well. um, we accept a lot of things, right? In the truest sense of acceptance, um, in and we have done that in our lifetime. But there are some situations where it becomes very difficult, and I was trying to think, what are those, what does it, why does it become so difficult to accept certain situation, certain people. um, and I could come out with five different things. Okay. And when I was thinking about it, like everybody else, I have also struggled with acceptance. I still do. A diploma from Banjara doesn't make me a guru and a sadhu and a peer, and so that I can easily accept everything and anything that comes my way. And what are the things that uh, what causes that problem? And as I was saying, I could find that there are five different things. There could be more, but these are the five that I could identify with. I could find that I have suffered myself. Um, Number one is what the society tells us, what is normal and what is not, what is expected of us, what is expected of people living in that society. And whenever that doesn't match with what we are faced with, um, we we find a struggle within ourselves. isn't it? So I mean, acceptance, I think we can also say it's a form of rejection, a rejection of anything that
Yeah.
is not what we expect to happen, right? And society is one of the things that tells us what is right, what is wrong, what is correct, what is incorrect, what is acceptable, right? And anything and anytime uh, that that doesn't fall in line,
Mm.
it becomes difficult. I mean, as an example, though things are changing now, um, very good example. Yesterday, I was watching this movie. This is on Sarala Dalal. I really started Tarala Dalal. Sorry, what am I talking about?
Hmm.
Anyone who doesn't know who she is, a chef, had her own TV show, had multiple books. I didn't start watching this movie from the beginning. Um, and her husband gave up his job to become the publisher of her first book, cookbook, right? And after the book was published, what I felt was this now husband was struggling that I don't have any job. I must get a job. It's unfair for me to sit at home or help my wife when she goes out and does all the earning. And I feel I could be totally wrong about it, but what I feel is that that was probably because of what the society expects of a husband to do, especially in our culture. Yeah, to be the provider. Uh, it was true probably in the prehistoric ages for
Mm.
different reasons, um, but it's not that anymore. And thankfully, things are um, changing now. So society was one. Our own experiences um, of our lifetime form our mind, tell us what to expect, what to not expect. I go for an interview 5 times, I get rejected 5 different times. It becomes very difficult for me to accept that maybe the problem is with me. Maybe I don't fit into the role that the companies are looking for. Maybe I don't have enough skills. It's much easier for me to think, they have got all people selected already, they want to push those guys or whatever. It's because of maybe the color of my skin, the language I speak, the way I speak English. And it becomes very difficult to sit for a moment and think, maybe it's me, right? And that's another form of acceptance. So that experience of 5, 6, 7, or maybe 10 years, I'm having problems with my manager, maybe. Is the problem with me or all managers in the IT industry? Since I'm from the IT industry, I'm going to talk a little bit about that itself. Are all, I can't use French here, right? So I will not. All managers in the industry are like that. Stupid, you can. We are all adults here. You can think of French words and put it in there to describe a manager in the IT industry. Is it that, or is there something that we can change in ourselves? So our experiences also sometimes causes those struggles, isn't it?
Right.
And I'll a little bit later I'll tell you why that's perfectly fine, as long as we are aware of it. Um, the third one is probably our own trauma that we have gone through, the ego that we have, which is built. I'm using the word ego in a very loose term, but the way we have been brought up, our own beliefs, right? Our senses of right and wrong, which does not come. So the way it's different from the previous one is it doesn't. It's not from our experience, our own lived experience, but what we have been taught, huh? um, to be right or wrong. Um, and that as soon as we see something that is not fitting with that notion of right and wrong, um, it becomes difficult for us to accept it. If anyone has seen this Tamil movie, Vijay Sethupathi, movie. It's okay. Give the name Super Deluxe. Anyone watch that movie? If you have not, please go and watch it. It's about four or five different scenarios playing out together, and in the end, they are all somehow linked. So four or five different tracks, and in one of these tracks, there is this small kid, maybe 6 7 years old, um, lives with his mother and a bunch of family members, grandparents and all. And the dad had left when the kid was really an infant, a baby, right? So the kid hasn't seen his dad for a long time. Actually, has never seen the dad. Doesn't know, doesn't have the notion of what a dad is. Um, the kid is teased in school, saying you are a test tube baby and this and that. Suddenly, the news comes that the dad is coming back. So the entire house is decorated. Everyone is ready. um, every time someone knocks on the door, the kid has practiced a dance, so the kid wants to open the door and dance. This goes on for some time, and then the taxi arrives. um, and then the dad gets off of the taxi dressed in a sari. So the dad discovered himself or herself to be a transsexual, and has made the changes, now lives in Mumbai, and has come back to see her family. And everyone is very upset. It becomes extremely difficult for everyone else um, to accept that fact. Everyone except the kid. The kid is not biased. The kid does not have this ego. The kid does has is yet untouched by the norms of society. The kid is happy that the kid has got a dad now. So the only acceptance came from the kid, and I believe we all have that kid living in ourselves. We need to find out that kid. We need to, maybe it's asleep, wake that kid up. Um, we need to understand that there are ways um, other than the ways that we think is right. And that's all I have to say.
That was very deep, especially the kid part, right? Where everybody else is not accepting, but the kid is accepting. And what are the reasons, like in that situation, if I would like to take that situation for an example, the other people, they have certain perspectives in their mind, right? They have certain expectations from the dad, whoever is coming back, and the society is having expectations. They have this image, so-called image, or something, right? We all are expecting something, and there is something there. But when it doesn't when it doesn't come out, right? How, like, these blocks are there, how do you break it down? How these blocks, whatever is there, how do you break it down, and why is it so difficult to accept?
I'll tell you what this is again, Ume.
Uh,
I'm sorry. Am I
No, no,
interrupting
no.
someone, Asha? Someone started to speak.
yeah, like what Ume said, I first of all to accept,
Hmm.
we what we have lot of imagination, we have lot of like we over imagination, so many things we want the way it is. Little here and there, it is very difficult for us to accept. One thing why is that happening is because um in Antivi, we have a lot of expectations from that. When we have lot of expectation from that person or whatever it is, the acceptance will become really difficult. When we won't expect anything, we won't expect whatever it is, let's go in the flow or something like that, then the acceptance will be really good. That's what I learned in my own experience.
Yeah.
I feel that's oh no, the biggest thing, whatever small thing or big thing we come across, or or we hear, or something like that. Just for an example, I'll tell you. First, when I finished my teacher's course and I wanted to join, I had definitely no expectations, nothing. Just one good school so that I get a good experience. So everything went on well. So even for me, that 10,000 or 15,000, whatever I was paid 7 years back, was a good amount for me. But later on, when the expectations from the school, okay, I'm working so hard, I want that. Why only those people are getting? Why not me? So when the expectations started, accepting the reality, I'm paid more than whatever I've got 7 years back, and now it's quite more. But accepting that, you know yeah, whatever I'm working for, that I'm paid now, is not, I'm not able to accept it. So no, I feel sometimes, okay, I'm working more and I'm paid less, so I need to change my school. Here and there is something different. So apart from that, we expect so many things. When we expect so many things, acceptance is very difficult.
Now, what did you do to accept that? When you understood that, yeah, I need to get paid more, and then to come out of that situation, you might have gone through some thoughts and feelings. Some things might have bothered you, Asha. So, what do you
Yes, yes.
think? Yeah, it's like, did you analyze the reality? How did it? How it became easy for you to move on?
Like when I understood the reality, okay, this is what, there are some schools where they pay more and the work will be more. The work will be according to the pay. And when certain research when I did about few school, how they pay, what is their working pattern, and what is my working pattern in the school that I'm working now. And when we compare with both the schools and all, yeah, then what is the reality, actually what I wanted? What Why did I come for this school? Okay, one, I wanted a big school. Yes, of course it's a big school. Second, I wanted a learning experience. Definitely I'm getting that with no doubt. And when I have that too, maybe salary will become a secondary. So the first year, what expectations I had, I came down to the same expectation. So that's how I'm able to move on.
So, Ume, there are a couple of things. I think what Asha said is absolutely right. Um,
Hmm.
so, I think the first step to win that battle is to recognize that you are struggling with something,
Hmm.
right? And this we have been told so many times. What are we thinking at this point of time? Um, if we can do that, then we know what's causing that problem. What is the emotion that we are going through? Is it anger? It is sorrow? What is it that is causing the end of the day? It's going to boil down to one of the emotions, isn't it? And why are we facing that? The point is, um, acceptance is not about a situation that you can control, you can change, because then it's very easy for you to go and change it. It's much more difficult where you are in a situation where you seemingly have no control. So I would think that you would first try to see if I can control it. If I can, what's the positive way of controlling it? And if I can't, um, then what can I do about it? Can I remove myself out of that situation? Can I do something to? So it's again goes down to, since we are talking this way, right? It goes down to the circle of influence and circle of concern, isn't it? So if it is in my circle of influence, can I do something? But the first step would be to acknowledge, recognize that I am going through a struggle, and this is what is the cause of the problem. You might not be, your boss is unfair and is really unfair. What are you going to do? Are you going to accept that? You have to change something about it. You change your job, you change your boss, you do something about it. But you can't be sitting there and craving about your boss. I mean, that's the other extreme of acceptance. I mean, that's I don't think that kind of a situation is going to be helpful. Okay, my boss is again a French word, so I'll just accept that and do nothing about it.
Actually, I think, yeah, sorry, Gauri. Sorry,
Acceptance. So
you
the
want to
last phrase I was going to say is acceptance is not resignation. It's not resignation, as in you don't resign to that situation.
say. So I think, yeah, you are, according to me, you are right because acceptance, what you said, like becoming aware of certain things, like first step of acceptance comes from becoming aware of what is going on and understanding about the things, and what you said, understanding about emotions, our own emotions, and acceptance doesn't limit it to that only. Like we have to do something, then only we can come overcome uh, from those struggles and whatever hardship we will go through, all those things. So I
Akila,
think,
please go ahead.
Yeah, hello to everyone.
Akila.
I,
Yes, see, I believe that learning to accept ourselves is an art. So
hmm.
when we start accepting ourselves, it brings a lot of peace and calm to our life. Yes, but it is very challenging also to accept ourselves. First thing is we are our own critic. There is an inner critic seated inside us who is always telling as per the norms of the society. Yes, this is what they expect from us. So we are into the rat race of satisfying others, wherein we are not practicing that self compassion. We are not understanding that end of the day we are who we are. We first have to learn to understand ourselves, that being mindfulness or whatever we call it, that inner peace or whatever it is. So when we are into this rat race, obviously we fall into that trap, and we stop accepting ourselves, and we start to accept what the society wants. So there we are losing ourselves, and there we start forgetting that what is that we want to expect from our own lives. So there I think there is a conflict within ourselves, and we become our inner, there is an inner critic who always, puts us a full stop here, you stop. Let it be anything, the simplest thing. They say the way we dress brings in self confidence, the way we speak, only then we feel, okay, if people are looking at us, listening to us, then we feel that okay, people are, accepting me. And I don't understand why are we waiting for the people to accept us. First, only when we accept ourselves, that is the biggest challenge that we are facing, then automatically I think the society also accepts us and understand that each one is unique.
You are absolutely right, Akila. But I would just like to add, it's not just a society, right? It's at times I was saying before, it's our own experiences that leads us to behave in that way. Our own fear of the unknown that leads us to behave that way. Society plays really a big part. But you are absolutely right. I mean, we are not perfect. If you remember a post I had a couple of days back, probably earlier this week or last week, that we came from imperfect people, who again came from imperfect people, uh, and we will be imperfect. And if we can accept that and just try to be a little bit better, find out those imperfections, probably things will become a little easier. But Akila, you are absolutely right, I think.
and I think what you said, like acceptance depends on individual. It's based on each and every person. Everyone has their own way of accepting things and accepting their. I think accept not only acceptance in terms of what, like based on society, its critics or our own criticism. Sometimes no, we will find it difficult in accepting our own strength as well. I think, not only strength, our weakness as well. We are not aware of what is our strength, what is our weakness, and we find it very difficult to accept when someone says like, this is something that you you have, or you are in, like your weakness is this and that. Like Sometimes I find it very difficult to accept. Oh my God, like I was not aware of those things.
So that comes out of sometimes ego also. When we have that, acceptance becomes really a big challenge.
Hmm.
And there are so many kinds of acceptance again. So there are people who will accept whatever comes in flow, and all those things are there. Okay, whatever comes, let it come. I'll just go with that flow. And there are some people who definitely won't accept. They have that rigid, like no, whatever I say, it's a only. There are people they accept certain things with whatever, however they want. They'll alter it, and then they'll accept it.
Again,
So
that is
many
true with
kinds of peoples are there in accepting also.
right, right. And again, it comes back to the ego, like how you are protecting your ego, what reasons you're giving to yourself.
But what I feel is not all the time acceptance. Ego um will be again a negative kind of thing. So like, not all the time ego, when the person has a ego, she's not accepting because she has a ego. Definitely not. But few, out of their own experience,
Hmm.
sometimes what happens, accepting certain things will become very difficult, because we would have experienced something not okay, and it's there in our mind unconsciously. It's there in our mind, and it comes out when we see after a year or 2 years, when we see that situation, or when we see that unknowingly, we won't accept it.
And very recently, I used uh, a phrase to describe that, Asha. So we tend to live in the prison of our past.
Yes.
Anjana, since you have spent a lot of time in the IT industry, you want to talk a little bit about what your experiences are and what your struggles have been. I see your note in the chat.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know or maybe understand the techniques or how we really need to be in control when you have already given one situation where, let's say, for example, we don't have job and we are going to attend the interview. And for five interviews, I mean, I have not been selected and I needed the job. So there is no, I mean, that's a need actually. And people cannot be in a position to accept the reality, probably whatever the reality may be. We are not suitable or we are not to the up, we are not up to mark whatever they're expecting, the skill set or whatever it is. I mean, it's all about the criteria. If that criteria is not met, obviously that could be one of the reason or whatever. So but how the person can be able to, really, I mean, that person should be in a position to understand the situation and get into a control that, okay, he should keep on trying. But I think maybe it's a human psychology. If I would be in that place, definitely I would have been disappointed. I really do not know uh, what would be the next step I need to take, right? So I mean, I'm expecting some kind of, control, or maybe okay, this is the way, maybe probably we have to go through, and if you try this, and then we may succeed. I mean, these kind of things I'm expecting actually from this session, Gauri. I think I have seen number of, so many struggles I have seen. Maybe down the line, I really do not know about these sessions. I'll be joining every bi-weekly probably. I can share my experiences, not in only one session. Yeah, I can give lot many experiences. Acceptance. Okay, we accept the offer. Let's say the same example you have given. We accept the offer, and we are in our workplace, and something we are not liking it. But how long we should be there, and how you need to accept the situation, or you, I don't know how you need to reject the. I don't think so. You'll be having a immediate decision you can be able to take to reject the situation also, right? So I mean, in
I think we understand what you're trying to say, Anjana. So
yeah,
anyone wants to take that up?
Can I put a little bit points on it?
yeah,
Hi, Anjana. Thank you for
hello,
sharing all those lot of points on acceptance and its struggle. So I think like it depends on oneself, as what Gauri said before. Like depends on individual how we accept things, right? So feeling disappointment and feeling frustration in those situations, I think it's a natural things. Like we will have those kind of emotions and feelings on certain situations,
yeah,
and I think every individual depends on individual, like how we accept. It's not like we have to accept right now. No, it takes a time. Certain things takes time to accept and become aware of the things. So I think it's okay if we are to, like, if we can take a time on it and just think over it and have a like understand like what are the situations that we have been through, like we were like what kind of things we went, like what kind of disappointment or what kind of feelings that I had when I was in those situations.
yeah,
And next what you said like was like not having a good environment in the workplace, right?
yeah,
You have some scenario. I'm sorry, don't remember. Yes, I think accepting them is not an acceptance. I don't think so that that is an acceptance. As what Gauri said before on the, I'm just highlighting those points actually. But
yeah,
what he said was like definitely correct. Like if we accept, like, oh yes, yes, they are being rude to me, so I have to accept them, I have to go with those flow. No, I don't think
yeah,
like we have to think on those like yes, I will accept however they are, but rather working on it, what can I do and what I should do based on myself, like in order to feel myself good, or in order to make myself overcome of those situations, what are the things that like I will be able to do. I think that would be a good thing if good thing means that would be a real acceptance if we go and work on those things rather than just accepting them however they are. Accepting working on ourselves is the most important thing, as acceptance is what we say embracing ourselves, understanding ourselves. Acceptance comes from oneself, I think.
yeah.
For me, and at least acceptance comes from oneself, then only we will be able to accept or accept others as well.
Can I try and take a crack, Nuri?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
All we all will try and
Put some
dig
input.
into our training, right? So,
Yes.
Anjana, in things, in situations like this, the specific situations that you mentioned, right?
Yeah,
Um, you can clearly see that there are two broad aspects. One is what the situation you are really in, uh, and probably the more important part is how is that impacting your mental health.
yeah,
How is it impacting you mentally, right? Now, four different people, as an example, who are in the same situation, will not probably be impacted in the same way.
right. Yeah,
They will all, and that will all depend upon how their life experiences have been, what their belief system has been. Uh, it depends upon all that, right? And you would want to deal with both the situations. Um, and there is no magic pill, right, that I will give you today, and you take it twice a day after food, and in 7 days all will be okay. There is no such thing, we all know that.
Mm.
So it's, as I was saying before, and it needs a lot of practice. If anyone in this call can do that, kudos. I still cannot do that at any given point of time. What am I thinking, what am I feeling? And then when you are in such a situation, then you don't have to make an extra effort. It's like kind of becomes a muscle memory for you. You will be able to figure out what your emotions are and where those emotions are coming from, not only from that particular situation that you are in, but from your entire life story, right? From your entire set of experiences, either lived in or transferred to you by other people. So that's a thing that we have to start practicing today. You cannot just say, when I am sick, I'm going to have a medicine, and then it will be, there is no switch that you can flick. So that's and I mean, if we get into that, probably even 1 hour is too small a time to go through that. But these are the, I think, the most basics that you can start trying to do. And then the situation that you are in, as I said, if it's within your circle of influence, if you can control that situation, control that situation. Otherwise you'll have to try and remove but yourself from that situation, but not before, again, not before fully understanding why you are there, why you are feeling the way that you are. Because unless you understand that, there is every possibility that a month down the line you will be in a similar situation, only the actors will be different.
Yeah.
Hey Sajan, Prachi, we also have a
Hi.
budding psychologist in the group here. If
Good
she,
evening, everyone.
hi Prachi.
Good
Hi.
evening.
And if the budding psychologist wants to speak up, she can. I won't take names or force anyone to speak up.
I would rather be audience today.
Yeah,
Okay.
I also will be a silent observer, listener.
There are other budding psychologists, Sajin and Prachi. Okay. She says would love to, but connection is very weak right now. Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, Ume, would you like to?
Yeah, like I would. What do I tell you? Like, see, acceptance, right? It's a very broad term, and we were speaking on a personal level, okay? When you look at it on a bigger level, like if I just take it on a national level, because as a diversified country, India, right? We are accepting so many different religions, right? We come from different backgrounds, different cultures. We are, we are living peacefully in this country because of the fact that we are respecting each other's religion. We are accepting of the cultures, the differences, whatever we are having. This is on a national level, okay? Yes, Gauri?
I feel in our country still largely we do not accept, we tolerate. And there is a huge difference between these two.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that would be a
I don't,
I might, I
let's
might
not
have
go that,
understood.
let's not go to that direction.
Yeah.
yeah.
Akila raised
Akila.
her hand.
I do agree with Gauri. We actually tolerate many things. I think on day-to-day basis, while we are traveling, you can see the traffic in the city. We actually tolerate and we just compromise and accept everything that comes the way it is. I just like to share one small instance that happened last week. I stand near the entrance to welcome all my students because I feel that they should be welcomed. A day should start bright. And as I was standing there and greeting, a child of grade 6 just walked in and she was trying to avoid because she had tears in her eyes. I happened to see and I just touched her. She started pouring out, she started crying. Then I took her aside, I took her to my cabin, and she was just, kept on crying for 2 minutes. Then I never wanted to stop her from crying because she was venting out. Then I just offered her water, chocolates, and everything. After some time, she started speaking that she was very rude that morning to her mother, and she understood, she realized that it was a very silly issue, that she should have not reacted in that way. And she was very loud to her mother, and the way she shouted at her mother, she felt very bad. But even in spite of that, as she was leaving, her mother dropped her to the school, and just asked her, did you take your water bottle and did you take your tiffin? So she and just gave her a hug. That hug made a difference to that child, and as she was walking inside the gate, she felt like crying. I behaved so rudely with her. I was so, unfair to her, but even in spite of that, she's so caring towards me. And she had that guilt within herself. Then when I spoke to her, I asked her, the whatever she had to do, she has done it. The damage has already happened. Now she cannot go back and rectify that. But I just asked her what she would be doing now, because she's in the guilt. Immediately she said that she would like to go back and give a hug to her mother and tell her sorry about what she said. I said, that's wonderful. That solves your problem. After that, I observe her every day morning. She comes with a nice broad smile. So she had accepted herself, and she understood actually what she has done was wrong. Maybe a small hug, but that made her understand. So I feel in our day to day life also, because now we are grown up, we have that rigidity in us, we have that ego in us. That's the reason we don't accept it so easily. But as a kid, she could accept very quickly. So one has to become like a kid to understand ourselves better, and we should accept ourselves. So this is what I just wanted to share.
Anjana, sorry, Akila was not there during the Super Deluxe story. You are absolutely, I mean, 100% agree with you, Akila. But Ume, you are saying something, sorry.
No, again, it came back to the child. Again, it came back to the child, right? Because children, they don't know, they're not bound with the norms of the society. So they are easily accepting. But
They are
why?
not yet polluted by the norms of the society,
Okay,
probably.
they are not yet polluted, and we all are polluted, guys. We are dirty. We need to clean ourselves from the pollution.
No, but you are saying something about the country and
Yeah, yeah,
acceptance
yeah.
of.
Yeah, yeah. I was just trying to explain you what are the levels, in which we are just, it's one and the same thing. Like you say it tolerance, I call it acceptance, okay? Tolerance, I can use the same words when it comes to a boss situation. I tolerate my boss. I tolerate my husband. I tolerate my boyfriend. Like this. Maybe I can use it, okay? So, sometimes what happens is people, they are so much, maybe their ideal self, whatever they have it, the judgments that they make about people or about themselves, they have certain expectations from themselves and from the other people, okay? Sometimes when you fail doing certain things, okay, like maybe I might have some goal. I might have had set up some goal and I'm not achieving it, okay? Right, I become angry with myself, I start punishing myself. I feel bad about myself, right? There is a moment required when you where you need to sit down and you need to really understand where things have gone wrong, and just try to understand what are those things which made me fail, or at least embrace it by saying that yes, it is okay. It is okay to fail, okay, because of certain situations. Understand the reality in such. Again, you raise the, आप ही बता लो भैया, आप ही बोल लो, हम चुप रहेंगे, ठीक है? आप बोल लो, नहीं आप बोल दो अब.
No, no, I've got a question. When you say that I am angry when I am not doing something or I'm failing, so I just wanted to ask you, what do you think that we are failing to accept?
Prachi will tell that.
Now that's the way, Umi, you need to accept Gauri.
Okay. Okay.
Now you define it as tolerance or you define it as acceptance. That I leave up to you.
Speak for yourself, Prachi.
I would say I have more of tolerance level than acceptance level, I think.
Okay. So I'm not accepted but tolerated by Prachi. Okay, Ume,
Oh,
go
no, no,
ahead.
no. Hello, you said you talk about yourself. So I was talking about myself. I was not talking about you, God.
Yeah, okay. We are digressing. Sorry. Ume, please go ahead.
I forgot where what I had. The flow in my mind is completely broken down, and you guys need to accept this, okay?
See, that's
Whatever
the reason
the
I
flow
didn't
I
want to
had in my
interrupt.
mind, everything gone.
That's the reason I didn't want to interrupt. I just raised my hand. You could have called upon me later on. That's the point of raising the hand there.
I
Instead of
was just very quick accepting that you had raised your point, and I wanted to give you a chance.
okay, thanks. So you were,
Told the society. Sorry.
yeah, Asha, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll put myself on mute.
So whatever you told about the society acceptance, why we do like this. See, like I said, there are people who get, they won't live up for themselves. They dress up for others. They eat for others. They live for others. It is not your own satisfaction. It is others' satisfaction. So when you want to satisfy other people, so tolerance will become acceptance. I'll tell you an example for acceptance. I'll give you two situations here, since all of my friends are there. Like, I have my own sisters. Like, my elder sister was beaten up very badly from husband and all those things. With In spite of all of those things, she accepted her husband. She tolerated her husband, because what if I leave husband? What will the society think of me? Okay, I got married. She was beaten up very badly. She was beaten up, to the way like, the blood, everything used to come out. That level she was beaten up. But she accepted the tolerance. Just because what if the society thinks if I leave the husband? I have a child. What will happen? But it was not the same case for my another sister. Unfortunately, my another sister also got to marry the same, that type of husband, where she was beaten up in the road and all those things. But there, at a point, tolerance was becoming an acceptance level. But then my mom, she pitched in and she was like, no more. You want to live with your wife, you become a proper human income. Otherwise, it's totally fine. I will take my daughter. And it was a divorce for her. Some they think what others think. My elder sister, even now, she thinks the same thing. That's when she's, tolerating her husband, or maybe her son, or whatever the torture or whatever she's going through. Because what if the society think of me? And most of the people don't have self confidence that yes, even I can lead. What if I'm not studied? There are so many, opportunities that we have. Go up, stand up. Don't be in the same area. Don't be in the same room. Don't be in the same four wall. Go up. Get out of the house. What will happen? You will get scoldings. Two lines of scoldings. Three lines of scoldings. Forget. Get out of that area. Go somewhere else. See what is happening. There are so many people who are like, hey, chalo man, not this fellow. Get lost. I will lead my alone life. Or maybe there are some people who would have married second or third or fourth. We have to live up for ourselves. That is when, society, whatever you were talking about, the society accepting, be it a religion, whatever it is. If you talk about the religion, even there, I have my own brother who's a Muslim. We are, good, brother and sister relationship from past 14, 15 years. But the fact, that relationship as a Hindu, my mom has accepted. As a Muslim, my brother's family has not accepted. So they don't know that he is there, in my, good, sister and brother relationship. He comes to my house every day. Whenever my mom makes non-veg, he loves and he comes, he eats and goes. Even though I have a pet, he comes to my house. That he won't think about the religion or whatever. He just want a human who listens to his emotion, who stands by him for him, who's there to talk every time he's good, bad, everything. When I am a good ear and forgetting all my norms, religion or married, unmarried, whatever, forgetting all of those things, when I sit, listen, whatever he's saying, that becomes an acceptance for him. So he's accepted me. So there is no religion in between. But the same thing I'll tell you, my mom has accepted him, not my sisters. So there are a lot of things, complications when it comes to religion, society. They have their own egos. They have their own religions. Boundaries. My ancestors, my mother's mother, my dad. This all those. Yes, maybe they would have come across the same thing, but can't help it. As I said, when we know the reality, I think it becomes more easier. In this way, I'll tell you, Akila has also helped me in so many things. My mom is almost 67 plus, and I know she's going through some variations in her body, or some mood fluctuations and all those things. There are times where I couldn't handle her properly. Only fight, there was some fight and all those things. I couldn't speak with her properly because she used to not accept whatever I say. Whatever she says only should happen. But when I called Akila and I told, why can't you sit, talk to her, make her realize what is the reality, what is happening, what is that you're facing from what is she's doing. Every day morning I used to go late for my school because she used to give me a lot of work, like telling you need to finish this and go. But when I asked Akila, she told, why can't you sit, speak with her, like tell her this is what is I'm facing, or you want me to quit that job and come here. Speak with her. So there were time where I sat with my mom. I told the reality, this is what I'm facing. There was both the things. One is compromising and accepting. What was the compromising? Okay, I will not be doing all the three works. Maybe I'll be doing one or two works. And the third work, if I have time only, I'll be doing. So here, I've accepted the way my mom is there. And also, I've compromised few things. So acceptance alone will not run in the life. I feel with along with the acceptance, there should be a mixture of so many things: compromise, fear, happiness, sad, tears. Like I said, acceptance with tolerance. So all these comes, and few combination falls under a few situation for few people. In my situation it is like compromising and accepting. For my sister's situation it is tolerating and accepting. And few my another sister who left husband was like easy go, like accepting and reality. Yes, I can do it. Accepting and confidence. So when we have these combinations, I think even that works better in the society when it comes to society and all those things. No, it became a long story or what, I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Actually, it was a good, what to say? You put a very bright light on what is acceptance according to you. So I think overall, whatever we are saying, society is made up of us only, I guess. Right. So first we have to change, not change, transform ourselves. We have to have the acceptance. We have to be understanding about ourselves. Then only we can make a better society.
For that, we need to join Banjara counseling course. So everything becomes a easy acceptance then.
So sweet.
I think one
Akila
has
has
to go through a lot of. Yes, yes.
Akila has raised her hand.
Yeah, I would like to just add one thing. See, when a woman conceives, okay, there is a lot of physical change that she goes through, and after her delivery or after upbringing, there is a lot of physical change that happens to a woman, and she accepts herself the way she is. Okay, but there are few who work on it and they try to come back to the way they were, or few accept the way they are and they move on. So here I don't know whether they tolerate themselves because understanding that I cannot do with anything with myself, or is it that acceptance that they have, okay, these are all the physical changes that I have to go through, and I have accepted myself and I'm happy with that. But I always question here, are the people who are saying that I have accepted myself for the physical changes that I have gone through, or is it that they just fake and say that, it's okay, now I cannot do anything about it, let me accept whatever it is. So it is not, I more than the society, I think it is inner, we have that feeling, and we let go things. Acha jane do, I can't do anything about it now, the way I am, let it be. Right, even that I think plays a major role here. Anything to add on, Gauri? Very suspicious way you're looking at me.
No, no, that is right, but not but. Whenever you say but after saying that is right, it feels like I am just being polite and saying that is right. But I really mean that is right. Um,
Hmm.
and now I lost my train of thoughts. Um, it's end of the day, it boils down to what you are feeling, right? If you are feeling perfectly happy with your changed body, it's perfectly fine. I mean, there is only one person in the entire world you cannot lie to. You can wear a mask for everyone else in the entire world, but that mask doesn't work for yourself. And if you are happy with the way you are, then that's perfectly all right. And it doesn't matter what you are telling the rest of the world, but that's where knowing yourself and how you are feeling and what your emotions are probably becomes very important. We are 3 minutes over, Ume and Nuri.
Yes, I think we should close the. No,
What
Gauri, I'd
you
like.
you you randomly close the call, or you say
No, no,
thanks or
no.
whatever?
Please,
Gauri.
No, 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 no.
I was about to ask you to close it.
Oh, okay. So I press this red button here.
N-
No,
No, okay. Uh, all right. So
you're what? This this kind of thing from class?
sorry. What is that? Nuri froze.
She
mm.
mean to say, even in the class, you were doing all these kind of
No,
things.
in the class I barely spoke.
Oh,
Um,
whoa, 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 whoa. Look who's talking.
yeah, it's before, after, and in the break that I spoke, not in the class. Anyway,
I
anyway, thank you
accept
very
it.
much for
I accept what Gauri said.
yes. Thank you. I am honored, but I am really, really, truly honored to be here today. Thank you, everyone, for accepting my blabberings and others' blabberings, Ume and Nuri's. So, thank you very much. You took off your time to attend this 1 hour. Very thankful, honored. Um, Looking forward to the next session, where probably I will be able to, as the pilot says, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight for 1 hour. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I think acceptance. No, this topic we are not able to, like, one session with this 1 hour discussion was not enough on this. I think it would be good if we talk about it more on future coming days.
Yeah, when I
This,
So
heard
we
it
are not
from
able to
different people, right?
accept that one session is enough.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We need more sessions. sessions.
No, no, Asha, it's other way around. We accept that one session is not enough.
Yeah.
We accept it
Ah,
that
yes.
once we went through different experiences, once we heard it from different people, I accepted that there is so much more meaning to other people. Like, they accept it in so many ways, and the meaning that they derive out of it, and there is so much more. It put me in deep thinking. It makes me think a lot more now. When you spoke, when Anjana spoke, when Akhila spoke, when Gauri gave the examples of Deluxe Moo and all those things, it was like a boomerang in my head. I started getting a lot of points where I need to work on, and I was just thinking, okay, these things are there and where I need to accept. So it was really fruitful for me, definitely. It was a really good session, and thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Asha, Akhila, everybody, for giving your precious time and joining us. And thank you, Gauri. Thank you, Nuri.
Thank
It's
Thank
our
you,
you.
everyone.
We
pleasure.
will
Thank you so
definitely
much.
next. We will post up. We will keep posting you regarding our next sessions. Okay.
We
Definitely.
would love to hear from you again.
Okay. Okay.
And
Yes.
actually, we would. I'm sure Ume and Nuri would appreciate offline if you have got any comments, any suggestions, if this helped you, or